It is increasingly difficult to find the best way to start this broadcast with the overwhelming amount of news about what's going on in the world. But we're committed to bringing you the most accurate information that we can in these excruciatingly difficult times. If you stick with us until the end of the program, we promise you a look at some true heroes rising to the occasion and inspiring us with the strength of their human spirit. As of this morning, the U.S. has the highest number of COVID-19 cases of any country in the world. We've recorded nearly 125,000 cases. That's almost 5 times what it was just a week ago. And there have been nearly 2,200 deaths. That rate is more than 6 times what it was a week ago. CBS News national correspondent Mark Strassman has a look at the situation here in the U.S., and he reports from Atlanta.
Good morning, Margaret. New York is still the epicenter, but all signs point to a devastating spread across the country. You mentioned those mixed signals. Well, yesterday, President Trump floated a mandatory quarantine of New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York. Governor Cuomo shot down that idea right away. So the CDC instead issued a travel advisory. All residents of those 3 states should avoid non-essential travel for 2 weeks. But no question, the siege of New York is about to be felt elsewhere. Watching New York's corona contagion, anyone's entitled to shudder. Overwhelmed hospitals, underprotected, scared emergency workers, shortages of ventilators, test kits, and respirator masks.
Many shifts that I've left from after finishing my shift, I've cried.
In this city famed for its grit, everyone feels vulnerable.
The models say you're 14 to 21 days away from that apex, we call it, when that curve hits the highest point.
At Rhode Island's border, National Guard troops stop arriving New Yorkers. They have to register and promise to quarantine for 14 days. Florida's set up checkpoints. This one closes the Florida Keys to outsiders.
How is it fair to them to just be airdropping in people from the hot zones, bringing infections with them?
Across America, COVID-19 has morphed into a Hydra-headed threat. 9 days ago, 4 states ordered residents to stay home, 75 million residents in all. Today, it's 25 states, 228 million people, roughly 2/3 of Americans, including Californians. By midweek, Los Angeles expects to be the next New York. The Navy pre-positioned this supertanker converted into a floating hospital. Its name, the Mercy. Mayor Eric Garcetti.
We will have doctors making excruciating decisions. We'll be trying to figure out what we do with that surge.
Other infection hotspots expecting a bad week include Chicago, Detroit. New cases of the virus jumped 1,100% in 8 days. And New Orleans. Its corona death rate has spiked 7-fold since March 20th. Per capita, its infection rate is about the same as New York's.
We are becoming an epicenter. We need all the help we can get from the federal government to help prepare.
New Orleans converted its convention center into a field hospital, like New York. City leaders will create 4,000 additional hospital beds at 4 sites. And another Navy floating hospital arrives in New York tomorrow. Across America this week, communities in crisis will rely on the heroics of frontline responders and something else that's contagious: hope.
That's Mark Strassman reporting from Atlanta.